Hello and welcome to 360 Gamercast, episode 230 for Tuesday, the 29th of October, 2024. I'm your host, Mark Webb, Gamertag, Pearson ID, Steam ID, Webby360G, and joining me this evening is...
Hey, I'm back for the Super Halloween special where we're doing nothing Halloween whatsoever.
Finally, we're in the best time zone. It's Sensei Switch.
So, talking about time zones, Darren, yesterday was Sunday, and I woke up in the morning, looked at my watch, and I said to my wife, oh, I've woken up really early today. I can't believe it. It's not like me on a weekend. So anyway, I'm plodding around the house during the morning. I went out for a walk, come back. I was sitting down to have lunch, and I was just looking at my phone, and then I saw something about the clocks changing. I was like, did the clocks change last night? And then it twigged. I didn't actually get up early. The clocks had changed. I had no fucking clue.
Yeah, we didn't know either. And obviously your phone's automatically changed. My car changed itself because it's a newish one with all that stuff. I didn't realise until we got in the city, towards the cinema. I was like, hang on, what time is this? And I was looking at my watch and I was like, oh my God, we're late for the film. And I was like, oh, no, we're not.
Imagine what it would have been like back in the olden days when someone would have had to have moved all of the Stonehenge stones around. For the
Stonehenge stones?
I'm just joking, obviously.
They just phoned up the aliens and got them.
That's it, yeah. Oh, dear. Right, so we were just talking about this in the pre-show on Twitch. If you want to listen to that, it is on Twitch. It is saved there. We're talking a little bit about Dragon Age the Veilguard. So it's all kicked off on the Discord this evening. It's pretty much my fault, but there we go. I have an opinion.
It's always your fault, Webby.
Fucker. So anyway, so the reviews... Well, the review embargo was lifted today, and not to my surprise, the reviews for Dragon Age are quite favourable. So I'm looking on Metacritic now. It's had 50 critic reviews, more than the 20 I said in the pre-show, so obviously more have been added. And it's sitting at 84 out of 100, which is very positive, actually. I must say, that's some really good reviews. I will say, yeah. Oh, wow. Good job. But the interesting thing about this is, and this isn't me being a conspiracy theorist, even though I do like a good conspiracy. I look at the outlets, Eurogamer, IGN, etc., and a majority of them have been, they've given the very favourable reviews. But these are the type of outlets I would expect to be giving the favourable reviews for a few reasons. Now, one thing I did see today is that there is another website, well regarded in my opinion, in YouTube channel called Fextra Life. Now they are an RPG website and YouTube channel, and they were involved in the previews for Dragon Age Inquisition. Now they were pretty positive actually on the previews, but they did have a few concerns and things about the game, and because of they expressed these few concerns, EA ghosted them and didn't send them a review copy. And many stories like this have come out today from many other outlets and YouTube streamers, content creators they like to be called. Now, I'm not saying that EA cherry-picked the reviewers who they sent the game to, but it just looks a little bit suspect that those outlets who have always been positive about this game got copies, whereas outlets who may not have been as favourable didn't receive a copy or code to review the game. Because usually when the reviews come out, there's hundreds on there. There's hundreds of outlets that are on the Metacritic, but as I say, there's only 50. What do you guys think? Do you think this is a little bit suspect? Because I certainly think it is.
Well, they've been doing it for years, only picking and choosing who will give them favourable reviews. That's one of, especially like the preview bills. I mean, Dougster was talking about it now. He said companies have the right to decide who they give the copies to or not. And where I see where he's coming from, I kind of disagree, because if you want a good, selection of different reviews, you've got to give it to a good different selection of people. I mean, that reminds me of years ago, and I don't think a lot of companies do this anymore, and that's why they have so many bad movies. I don't know if you ever got this, Webby, but me and my mate did quite a lot, where we used to go to the old ABC cinema, and if you were there early enough, the guy would be there and let you go in for free for like a preview screening.
Oh, right.
Things like that, but it'd have to have so many blokes, so many women, some from this age group, some from that age group, and we got to watch a lot of movies, like sometimes 6 months to a year before they came out.
Mm-hmm.
But you'd have to like fill out your questionnaire and things like that. Whereas today, I don't think that happens at all. And I was like, well, surely you want a decent mixed selection of reviews, especially at the preview stage, because you can actually do something about it then.
Yeah.
And there's a few movies we saw. I'm trying to think now, because this was like the mid-90s. I'm pretty sure there was one movie where everyone unanimously said, this is stupid at the end. This is... And
hated the ending and they completely changed it.
Yeah, they completely changed the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a big one. What was that? I say a big one, a medium one. Like Clerks, so Kevin Smith.
Oh, yeah.
And he changed it. And there's a few other, I can't remember, there was a big one. I want to say it was something with Bruce Willis in it. But they changed something completely because it didn't make sense. Whereas if they only picked people that were just going to praise them and kiss their ass, they'd have made a bad product. And over the years, especially, what we've been talking about, especially with Dragon Age and games looking really good at preview and coming out broken, like I think one of the biggest ones is about 10 years ago now, which was Watch Dogs?
Yeah.
All downgrades and stuff like that. And recently with the whole, woke stuff, like, what was it, the Saints Row reboot?
Yeah,
complete
flopped hard, didn't it? Yeah.
Floppy mess. Irrelevant of, what they did with all the, ticking boxes woke stuff. The game was crap.
Yeah.
So every time something like this gets mentioned in the media, we think, well, that's going to happen again, because history tends to repeat itself with stuff like this.
Yeah.
Whether or not it has or not, we don't know. But it's just, you don't get a free pass just because you tick all these boxes.
Well,
and the game's crap.
It depends on the site.
I know some reviewers do. I mean,
I will say it's not even necessarily just that kind of aspect of the game that a lot of people have an issue with anyway.
Yeah.
From what I see most people having an issue with is there's a massive tonal shift.
Yes.
Like huge tonal shift. Like you've gone from being grimdark fantasy, almost Diablo-esque, to being like a generic D&D kind of what's that fucking lot that play D&D and made it really popular? Kind of just generally gives off that sort of happy-go-lucky sort of vibe to it, and it's not what Dragon Age really is.
It looks like Fable to me, like that kind of art, that silly art style,
Sort of, yes. Fable was pretty well stylised, though, I will say. This kind of just looks generic to me.
It looks like it was put in the AI machine.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, though, I do agree some of these reviewers over the years probably do deserve to not get review codes, because they've deliberately done it, for clicks and gone against like the majority. Like all the games that are really good and pretty much everybody loves, they give a really crap score to.
Yeah.
And then ones that everyone pan, they'd give like a 10 out of 10 and say it's great, just to be awkward in the opposite. I know some of them reviewers don't get it, and I sort of get that, but the ones you were saying, Webby, that didn't seem overly negative. It just said, this is some good points, this is some bad points.
Yeah.
Hopefully they'll get it fixed come the review. And I'm
Yeah.
like, well, so is there anything negative or critical you say means you get nothing? Even if you say 9 things you really like about the game and 1 bad thing, that means you don't get the review
Well,
copy?
this is the thing, and then this is what was frustrating me in the Discord today. I mean, if you want to see the chat, go onto the Discord and see it. I did get a little bit annoyed, but I posted this Vextra Life video on there, and I guarantee you no one who was arguing with me in there actually fucking bothered to sit down and watch the video, whereas I had watched the video from start to finish, you know.
What, because it's like a 20-minute video and they were arguing after 1 minute?
Yeah, it was only an 11-minute video. You know what I mean? It's not like long, but this TikTok generation of no fucking.
Before, you never know, do you?
You know, but they're you know, this Vextra Life is a great example because they don't get involved in culture wars. You know, they kind of stay very neutral. They don't speak out one way or the other or anything, and they were just saying it how it is. And that's why I found it really interesting to watch. Because
there are a few other quite well-known YouTubers like Skill Up and stuff who didn't get a review code either.
He did get a code. He did get a code.
I heard he didn't.
Yeah. So this is what interesting. This is the argument. I'm not going to name names because that's not right. But this is one of the arguments that people are putting on Discord. Well, Skill Up got a code, so you're obviously lying, Webby. And I'm like, well, no, I'm not. But I did actually look at the Skill Up review, and he slated the fuck out of it. Absolutely slated it. Whereas everyone else is like saying it's the best thing since sliced bread, giving it 10 out of 10s. And I'm like, how the fuck is this getting a 10 out of 10? Whereas Black Myth Wukong got like a 7 out of 10 from the same publication. Makes no fucking sense to me.
Well, yeah, it's at the end of the day, it just generally comes down to sometimes the individual reviewers anyway.
Yeah.
Like for different stuff. You can't blanket everyone at IGN as having the exact same kind of opinion on anything. You're always going to have certain people that prefer and like certain types of games.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to get me to sit down and review FIFA. Because I'm really not going to be knowing what I'm talking about.
Wouldn't you be worried if a game universally was absolutely panned or universally loved? Do you think, well, something's not right? You know, with the main reviewers, not the, you know, user scores. Because, like I said, there's certain games that people don't like, or the genres of them, so they're not going to like it, are they?
Of course.
I mean, like, we act like there's been divisive opinions on games before. There's plenty of games where the big review outlets have gone, oh, this is stunning, 9, 10 out of 10 and everything, and then people play it and they're like, this is horrible.
Well,
I hate this.
It's the same example in movies, though, Darren. You know, there's been plenty of movies that have come out, you know, on Rotten Tomatoes.
The critic and audience, yeah.
Yeah, the complete polar opposites. And this is something I predict is going to happen with Dragon Age, and it's not because of the whole. Well, people know my opinion by now anyway, but the whole trans thing and putting the top surgery scars on your characters and the pronouns, I think is fucking ridiculous. It should not be in video games whatsoever. However, you know, that is not the reason why I think the game looks shit. You know, it looks shit because the art style looks gash. The story, from what I've seen, looks absolutely awful. The voice acting looks awful, and the gameplay just looks like generic dog shit. And this is why I'm so flabbergasted as to why it's been getting such high review scores. And in my mind, I know why. It's because it's ticked all those diversity boxes that, you know, to give it the good reviews by the reviewers, because that's what all these people want these days, and it's fucking bullshit. And it fucking pisses me off.
Yeah, but we say this, don't we, Webby? And I'm sure Switch is saying the same. We're not saying this because we hate games and we want them to be. We want good games. We want all games to be really good and people to like them. It's just we see stuff like this coming, like recently with Concord. You know,
yeah,
Sony and all that lot refuse to listen to all the previews, all the people that said this game looks crap. Who's going to pay money for this game? People have already got Overwatch and all these other games. It's going to flop. It's going to flop. And they just completely buried their head in the sands, listened to people who told them what they wanted to hear, got people to preview it and review it that told them what they wanted to hear, and then it sold like, what, 26,000 copies or something like that? And it was a complete flop, and they deleted it. I'm like, if they'd have done things properly and got a good list of a good load of people to look at it and preview it and tell them, they might have gone, hang on a minute, lads, this is not looking good.
Yeah. Well, it's Design 101, isn't it? You get people to test it and give you honest answers. Yeah.
You want honest stuff so you don't make a mistake. I mean, if they'd have listened, like a year or months ago, everyone knew this game was going to flop hard, apart from the people whose job was to make sure whether it was going to flop hard or not.
Well, they didn't want to listen. They didn't want to listen.
If Sony were listening, we'd have had Bloodborne by now.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. If any other company would have gone, okay, we see where you're coming from, right, but we've already invested all this. We're going to change all that. We're going to delay it 6 months. We're going to make it free to play, and we're going to listen to this, and we're going to remove this. Okay, the characters are really generic. I know what we'll do. We'll go get Robert Downey Jr. and whatever. We'll pay him a few million. We'll put his face in the game, and we'll put, actually make it something that people might think, that looks different. I'm just saying, but they just doubled down and ignored people of telling them, and then they're completely surprised. Well, what everybody told them happened.
Well, mate, I mean, and this is the problem, right? Because game testing used to be giving honest appraisals, of what you've played, what you've seen, etc. Right? And it's something that I learned very early on when I did my degree. I designed an app for my final project in my IT degree, and my tutor was like, "You might think it's great, but you need to go get at least it was only a small project, right? You need to get at least X amount of people to test it, have a list of questions, on a thing, and get feedback, and then iterate your app on the feedback, right?" So
not only that, I will say, going back to when I was at art college, art and college and all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
When I was building my portfolio to take around to all of the interviews and stuff you go to.
Yeah.
One of the best bits of advice I was given there was, even if you've done stuff you don't particularly like yourself, still have it in your portfolio, because other people might actually like it.
100%.
You might not like it, but other people might gravitate to it.
Yeah, 100%.
Because the things that are created are different for different people.
No, I completely agree, Dan, and that's some good advice there, I think. But I think where a lot of developers have gotten to now is they don't want to listen to criticism or feedback. But I also think the other part of the equation is that I think people are too scared to give open and honest criticism or feedback because they're too scared of offending people, hurting their feelings. Oh my goodness. You know what I mean? So it's kind of a double-edged sword there. The devs aren't listening, but then the people that are meant to give the criticism are scared to, because they don't want to offend people and get sacked or labelled a phobe or something like that. So,
But no feedback is bad feedback. Even the bad stuff is good, because you can learn more from what people are saying is wrong or what they would change. Because if everybody just agrees with you, how are you going to learn?
Boring.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's how are you going to learn? It's like, oh yeah, I thought that bit was great. I thought that bit was great. And hang on, these three people thought, like, oh fuck, I completely missed that. Oh, it's a good job they told me in the preview stage. I can fix that before the game comes out, and that could save me loads of people, not buying the game or claiming Steam refunds. It's just what I'm saying. You learn so much more. Whereas, before, a lot of these, they put out for the games for previewers and testers and movies. They're actually more interested in the negative stuff than they are the positive stuff, because, they can actually do something about that. Just because they agree that this bit is really good, if they're not going to be honest and tell them, what is the point of doing it? That's why you've got to kind of...
Yeah.
I know it sounds weird, but you've sometimes got to look for the negative stuff in these previews so they can fix it.
Of course, 100%.
They're not... And that's the sort of thing. It's because they've been picking and choosing. I mean, there's a few, big YouTubers. You got like Angry Joe, millions of people, he doesn't get game reviews anymore. Get sent stuff, but then he does also. He'll review a game a couple of weeks, if not longer, because he will not start playing and reviewing a game until after the day one patch.
Yeah, makes sense.
Which makes sense for him, but numbers wise, he's probably gonna, that game that came out 3 weeks ago that people have sometimes already finished, am I going to watch a 40, 50-minute review? So he's probably losing numbers, but, this has been going on for, like I said, probably over a decade. And that's why I think the quality of games, like across the board, is dipped quite a bit, especially when it comes to, like, not just this, like all the woke stuff or whatever, but just like how many games are released broken. It's almost as if it's a given, and people like don't care that it's broken and it requires loads of patches now.
Yeah.
It seems like they're skipping that and they're just letting us do the previews, but paying full price. And then they might patch it a year later. And if you get the Game of the Year edition, that might be the finished version.
Yeah. No, I know what you're saying. And, I've got a lot of misgivings about this game in particular for a lot of personal reasons, which I've aired in Discord and mentioned briefly here. But it's not all about that, I miss the BioWare of old. The Dragon Age series used to be fucking amazing, absolutely amazing, and what they look like they've turned it into is just a shell of its former self, and it just fucking frustrates me, man. It really does.
It is annoying, but it is got to the point there. It's just like you just got to let certain franchises go, mate.
I know.
Just be like, no, that's done. I'm done with that franchise for now. Like, you're all right, keep it.
Yeah, but it's when, but I know I should like kind of bite my tongue and stuff like that, but it's like when I point out things like, why in the character creator are they putting top surgery scars on the character creator for trans characters? Why are they putting pronouns in there? Why is the character creator so shit you can't even give your female character boobs or an arse? You know what I mean?
That's more
They're meant to be making it for everybody.
Having the fact that you should be able to create what you want to create to a perfect degree. Like, if they're putting in everything, then put in everything.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't get the scars thing. I mean, if you could just put scars anywhere on the character and someone decided to do that, I suppose that's fine.
Yeah, but they've made that a specific option on there, top surgery scars. And it's like, why? And I know why, and I know I'm going on a tangent, but the lead developer of the game is a transsexual. That is the only reason why, and they're trying to push that agenda into the game. And I know a lot of people can ignore all that, and I get it, you don't want to be involved, great, but it really fucking pisses me off that this is being pushed into all media now. It is fucking frustrating, especially as a parent. I have to really vet now what my kids are watching because it's even in kids' cartoons and shit now. It has got to the point where it's over the top. And gaming is my favourite hobby in the world, has been ever since I can remember, and it's being ruined now by all this fucking bullshit, and it's got to stop. So,
things will balance out.
I mean,
Like, we've been through all these different, like the satanic panic games that cause violence and all this kind of stuff. It's just another part in the long list where things will eventually even out.
I mean, you are. There is a huge backlash at the minute. Games aren't being cancelled. People just aren't buying the games with all this bollocks in it.
Well, we've said as well, people have less money now, so obviously there's less people buying games. There's a lot more games that are live services. They take up way more of your time, so you might not even have time to get round to playing things that you might want to get round to.
Yeah. No. I mean, look, there's plenty of games to play at the minute anyway. I've got a huge backlog. It just means there's another game that I personally am not going to buy. And that's fine. The choice is there. If people want to buy this and play it and have fun, go for it. Yeah, doesn't bother me at all.
I hope everyone who buys the game has fun with it. I don't want people to play something shit because you've got better things to do with your time.
Of course, I play games and stuff to escape reality, not to have it shoved in my face. You know, and there's games for certain people and games for other people, right? And as I say, this is a game that I personally won't buy, but that's fine. But the backlash is there, and the games with this stuff in, I can see they're just not selling. And yes, this game has got the name behind it, but I think EA are going to be very disappointed with the final sales numbers of this. I think that's all I can say.
It's still going to sell well because it's a Dragon Age game.
Well, if a Star Wars
going to put in reasonable numbers.
Well, if a Star Wars game can't sell well, I'm not holding out a lot of hope for this. But that's just my opinion. We'll see.
When was the last time a game actually done well according to what the developers and publishers wanted, though? That's the problem. None of them seem to, you know, it's like...
Not many from big shareholder-owned publishers and stuff, no.
But a lot of them,
there's a massive rise in independent games.
Yeah. They just think it's going to be like the olden days where if you don't sell 20 million copies of it within 3 months like Call of Duty used to do, everything's a flop and you want to cancel everything.
It's because they put themselves in that position where they need it to make that amount of money.
Yeah.
I mean, what were they saying now? Like, I mean, they brought it out physical, like, what was it, this week or last week, Alan Wake 2, and they've brought it, that still hasn't made the development costs back. You know, it's just...
Well, I don't know, obviously, since they've done the physical version.
That's what I said, apparently it still hasn't
up
paid
to that
the money
point,
back.
no. I've heard that, but...
I don't know. But we say because we care. And I understand where you're coming from, though, Webby, with the whole, you know, the work, especially the transgender, especially when you read so many, like, horror stories, which they are horror stories for parents, where I think that's whether it's over here, but I remember there was one in America where if a kid's at school and say they think they're transgender, so they can get teachers can get social services to take the kid off the parents and put them into foster care and like give him or her the surgery, and the parents have got like no say in it at all.
Yeah, Canada's a big thing.
And it's just, and then there's so many people out there that have done it at a young age and then regretted it later on in life because they're young, teenage, you know, pubescent, hormonal kids that they don't know what's going on. Everything's all over the place. And they don't need stuff like that put into their head as like what they need to do, when really they should just chill, relax, and, you know, once they hit 18, 21, you want to do what you're going to do what you're going to do.
Yeah.
You know, but you can't be doing that to bloody young kids, can you?
Leave the kids alone. That's all.
They're treating sex changes at school like we did for fucking pogs and night shocks, aren't they?
That's
do you know
ridiculous. What I mean? Yeah, and I don't, you know, I'm not one who believes in censorship, but I think there becomes a point where it's like, video games, no matter the rating, is kind of aimed at kids, and I'm not gonna. Yeah. I'm trying not to sound like a Karen or anything like that, but it's like when it's pushed into all media like that, it's been pushed as the norm, and it's not normal. I'm sorry, but it's not normal. All right, and it shouldn't be seen as such, in my opinion. And I think most people agree with me, but they're too scared to say anything.
Well, they do, but then they just get shadow banned on YouTube because I think they're terrified of offending anyone, but they don't want to offend, I don't know if the right word is normal people, but because they realise those people will understand and not get as pissed off vocally, because we sort of we understand why they're doing it. You know, they don't want to upset people, but I've always said, you can't please everyone, but you know what you can do? You can piss everybody off.
Indeed.
Games.
Video games.
Oh, they're meant to be fun. Anyway, since let's move on, because I know Darren's in a hurry tonight, etc. So, video gaming for me this week has been really fun, I must say. I have been playing the new Call of Duty, and before anyone says anything, I do know that there is a non-binary character in the new COD. Oh but I'm still having fun with the game. All right.
We know, Webber, you're just repeatedly shooting that person in the face, even though it ends the mission. We know.
Yeah, I know. But seriously, the game is really fun. It's probably the best Call of Duty we've had for many years, I would say. There's a lot of positives. I can't actually think of... I know this is the first, right? I can't really think of anything negative to say about it at all. I'm loving the new... So there's a lot to say, and I know I don't have a lot of time to say it, so I'm going to try and be as quick as possible because I know time is of an essence this week. And I know you haven't played it, Darren. And Nick, I don't think you've played it either, have you? So
no, I'm going to get Game Pass towards Christmas when Indiana Jones come out, and then basically try to bang out all the newest Game Pass games within a couple of months.
Yeah.
A Black Friday deal on it. Like usually, if you're getting the yearly memberships and stuff for things, you wait until Black Friday and then do it then, because there's usually a deal.
Well, this has been around like on hot UK deals for like 40 quid.
That's not bad. That's pretty good.
Cheap
yeah.
And mostly PS5s, because I mean I don't think there's because if you're going to play this online, which most people who play COD do play it online. If they've got Xbox, they've got online, they've got Game Pass, they're not buying it, are they?
Well, you have to have Game Pass Ultimate to be able to play it. So if you've got like Game Pass Core or whatever, then obviously you're not gonna.
It's because I'm not sure which, because I'm going to get one off of CD keys, but I don't know if would be the.
Just send me the link, mate. I'll have a look for you.
Yeah, because you've got. Yeah, we'll sort that out.
Yeah, that's fine. So I will say, right, I'm going to try and talk in chunks of gameplay. Campaign, really, really good. I was quite negative on the Modern Warfare 3 campaign because I had loads of those open worldy type missions. They've learned from it in this one. I'm actually, just before we started recording, I'm on the last level of the game now. So I'm obviously I've played it for quite a lot. It's quite a good length campaign. I'd say maybe about 7 hours-ish, which is pretty decent, I think. In that time, there's only 2 open world type levels. The rest of the standard COD fare. And the 2 open world type levels are really well designed, actually. I really enjoyed them both. Gave you a lot of options to do the missions in there in many different ways, like a stealthy way if you wanted, or going all guns blazing. There's plenty of optional objectives to do on both as well. And the story's really, really, well, I wouldn't say really, really cool. It is really cool. It is good. Makes sense. The typical COD fare, it feels like you're playing for an action movie. That's all I can really say about it without obviously spoiling the story. I just really like it. I like the vibe. Oh, and there is a home base type area. So after every mission or 2, depending on where you are in the story, you kind of go back to this home base type area. It's this like big mansion house type place.
Like a hub kind of thing.
Yeah. And in there, you can upgrade your perks to play for the campaign, make it a bit easier, weapon upgrades and stuff like that. Talk to the different characters, get more story. But in the actual place, there's like a mission board. That's where you select your next mission. But in the house as well, there's collectibles to get and some puzzles to solve. Because throughout the game, there's some quirky puzzles to solve. And reveal like pins to keypads and stuff like that. You're using a black light, and there's these radios that give out like hints and things like that, which are really, really cool. I've done all them. I did cheat and use a little bit of a walkthrough for quite a few of them. I'll happily admit that because I just wanted to crack on with the game. But really, really enjoying the campaign because I'm not quite at the end, but I know I'm on the last mission because I just had a quick look at a walkthrough of the mission names just to see where I was, and I'm on the last one, so I'll probably get that done probably tomorrow night or something, which will be fine. Multiplayer wise, there's quite a bit to say. Really, really enjoying it. So the actual normal multiplayer, there's quite a nice selection of maps. I can't quite remember off the top of my head how many maps there are, but there's quite a few, maybe 10-ish, maybe 12. I can't quite remember off the top of my head. All of the maps bar one I really like. There's out of the lot, there's only one map I don't like playing, which is pretty good. Okay, Gav's just come and said there's 16 maps. That was close. There's only one.
All new, or are they
all new? All, as far as I can tell, all brand new maps. Really well designed as well. Really, really liking them. And so there's only one map I don't like. So out of 16 maps, that's not bad going, right? All your classic game modes are there. You know, your search and destroy, kill confirmed, HVT, team deathmatch. The actual way your character moves feels slightly different this time round. It feels a little bit more, I would say, more fluid. So, as an example, when you walk up to a wall and you walk to the edge of the wall, it automatically kind of leans to the direction, like, so it auto like kind of peeks around the wall, which is what I really like. There's a new sliding mechanic. You can slide in different dive in different directions. Sorry, it's really, really cool. Just want to give a big shout out to everyone who joined the Gamer Night on Friday night. So the launch day, a load of us were online. There was 7 of us. Well, there was actually 8 of us at one point. And the thing about that is you can only have 6 as a group to play the normal multiplayer. So I had to spin up custom game modes, a private match. And we were doing private matches for about 2 hours. And we had some fucking laughs on that. So D Twin is really good at the game. Just going to say, but he is the best player out of a lot of us. And he kept on getting all the most kills. He was pissing me off. So I was like, right, mate. Because there were 7 of us at the time. I was like, right, it's going to be 6 of us versus you. We did a game, 6 versus 1. He fucking beat us, didn't he? He fucking beat us. It was hilarious. It was just a really good time to be fair, because it just felt like COD of the 360 era, just all the lads on COD on a Friday night, just chatting shit, having a few beers, and playing games. So, it was a really good time. We did actually get a group photo on the stadium level by the trophy. So if you want to see that, pop into the COD room on the Discord. That was really cool. I didn't get a lot of time to do the photo because everyone just started lobbing grenades at each other. It was a fun time. But the last thing I wanted to say about it, I'm trying to be quick, is the new zombies mode is really good. So basically classic zombies, remember the old Call of Duty games, classic zombies, round based. You gain your points by killing the zombies and you can buy weapons, buy upgrades for your weapons, doing the pack-a-punch. Knock the fences down with your points to unlock more of the level. It's like that old school zombies, because I think with Modern Warfare 3 they completely fucked it up by making it kind of a DMZ type mode on a huge Warzone type map. It just didn't feel right. Old school zombies, really, really fun. Every 10 rounds you get the option if you want to extract, and then you go to a radio, it calls in the chopper, then you've got to run to a point in the map to get to the chopper. Very much feels like Left 4 Dead in that aspect. However, I've done about 3 or 4 games on it and haven't been able to extract, because you get to the extract point and you've got to kill all the zombies surrounding the helipad. And each time there's been like one of these super zombies turn up and we haven't killed it in time. And then and then when the timer runs out, it hits a cutscene where the zombies jump onto the helicopter and crash it. It's really fun, but very, very tough. Just throughout the normal game and also to extract is very tough. The only thing that's a little bit frustrating is if you're downed and you actually properly die before one of your teammates revives you, you respawn the next round, which is fine. But when you respawn that next round, you lose everything you've earned during the game. So you lose your weapons, you lose all your upgrades, you lose everything. So, which is annoying because the later rounds you get to, the zombies are really more powerful than the beginning. So you really need those upgrades to kill the zombies. So you kind of just like a bit of wet paper, really. you die really easy and you can't hardly do any damage. It's kind of shit, shall we say, in that aspect. One actual negative that I will say, though, that Gav just reminded me of in the Twitch is that there was a bug I had where my loadout had disappeared in the game. It was like all blank writing and stuff. I don't think COD liked me chopping and changing between all different game modes, but all I did was delete the loadout and I just remade a new one and renamed it, and I was okay. But no, overall, apart from the fucking they them character, which makes no fucking sense in the 90s era of all times, one of the greatest eras of all time where people were all normal, they got that in there. If you look past that, it's a great game. And it's very, very enjoyable, and I'm looking forward to playing it some more this week. What I have noticed, though, before I move on to you guys, I do apologise for talking so much. It's on Game Pass, and get it right. However, obviously, you can see with the little symbols what platform people are on. I've been playing against a lot of people on PlayStation. So even though this game is on Game Pass, I think it is sold very well on PlayStation just from the amount of people I've been playing against. Yeah. So I will be interested to see what the sales numbers are if they ever release them for the PlayStation. I think they'll be quite high. It has sold a lot on Steam. I think I saw something about over 300,000 people were playing it on Steam on launch day or something silly. So it's definitely sold well over there. So, yeah, it's, as I say, it's a good game. Sorry, Nick, what were you saying? Or Darren?
It's me.
Yeah, go on, Darren.
Does the zombies have any celebrity cameos in it or anything, or is it just Reznov and the other sort of ones from before?
I don't know, mate. Is the honest answer. I really don't know. But no, I just want to say it's a fun game, and it's I'm glad it's on Game Pass because obviously it's more people to play with and stuff. So, and I think they're doing an update in a week or two for the season where they're going to change up the Warzone as well, because the Warzone's still on the Modern Warfare 3. That's changing to BLOPS, and they're doing quite a lot of changes on that, which I'm sure Colin will be really happy about since that's all he plays. But no, I'm really positive on COD this year. It's good.
Yeah, I was hearing of someone at work that they've apparently removed a load of game modes from Warzone, and that's why it doesn't play it anymore. Like they've removed trios and duos or something.
I wouldn't know because I don't really play much Warzone anymore.
Well, they had when he was basically sort of saying he doesn't play it anymore.
The thing with Warzone is they very often do chop and change the game modes anyway, like how many players you can have on a team and stuff like that anyway. So
yeah, they take it out so they bring it back, and they tend to bring it back this is when I played it years ago. They always brought up the popular stuff back when they had new stuff to sell.
Yeah.
Or a new map or new stuff, so, like the new battle pass and stuff like that. So.
Yeah. But no, it'd be nice to see you and Nick on it, Darren. I know that's not going to happen, but it's a great game. It's really good. It's really good. It is.
December. I'll play it in December.
Okay. Well, I won't be here, but you enjoy on your own.
Okay, and you'll be back in January. My Game Pass will be finished.
Yep. Fun times, mate. Cool. Anyway, I do want to move on to Nick and Darren's games. So, Nick.
Yeah, so finally I've got wanted for a while was Gran Turismo 7 on PS5.
OMG, I didn't really know you were a big racing gamer.
Well, I was back on PS1, PS2, and fighting games, and I just sort of went away from that, especially when I went more towards RPGs and things like that, and yeah, but the last one I played really was Gran Turismo 3 on PS2. And I think I played the first one on PlayStation 1 as well. And I did enjoy both of them because especially the PS1 version, because at the time, like, that was like one of the best games, for graphics wise.
Yeah.
Just how good it looked. And the only problem is for me, and I'm starting to get that now on this one, is the licenses.
Oh, yeah.
Progress the game. You have to get these licenses, and it's like, oh, you don't break or do this corner exactly how we want it. Oh, you spun your wheels, fail. You've touched the corner, fail. You haven't done it quick enough, fail. And I was just like, and that is what finished it for me on PS1 and the PS2 version, the A spec. That was nice because that came in a red case. That was cool.
Yeah.
But the only difference with this is I don't know if I'm gonna manage it. That's because it's on PS5 with the SSD. When you do fail it, and I fail it a lot, it's just like you press retry and you just back it, really quickly.
Yeah.
Whereas on PS1 and even PS2, you'd have to wait maybe a minute or so for it to reload that part.
That was to add to the frustration.
Yeah, and it was just like, oh, for fuck's sake.
That used to be one of the most annoying things. I think that's why people got frustrated with dying in games, because you knew you were sometimes waiting like almost a minute to reload. It's like, I
don't know, because it's like there's a few races I can't do because of I haven't even got one license yet, my B license. I'm not sure, because once you do it, you have to get. Shut up, Webby. You have to. I've seen you driving in real life, mate.
You just see my video now, right?
Yeah, but so I'm enjoying it. The only thing is, you have to do watch a lot of waffle and talking to actually get anything done. It's like I thought, right. Let's get the game. Great. Let me go buy my cars I like. Oh, you can't. You can only buy the second-hand cars that they let you pick. You can only actually buy like one of 3 different cars at the start. And I'm like, okay, so I've got to do this thing at the cafe, and you have to talk.
Yeah.
And it comes up, and it's like, oh, do these 3 races, and you'll unlock these 3 cars. Come back to me, and then I'll unlock this. And I'm like, okay. Great, and I unlocked. Finally, I can buy my Honda Civic Type R and my Golf R and my Aston Martin. I was like, oh, I can't afford them, but fair enough. So I did some more races, and then I bought them. And it's like, oh, you can't have that colour car. You've got to like buy it and then paint it. Right, where do I paint it? Oh, you've got to do more like races at this cafe thing to unlock. Like the garage, so you can customise your cars.
I can't remember that at all. I mean, because obviously the game is quite old now, and I've got everything unlocked. I don't remember that at all. Having to unlock the fucking paint shop and that.
It's 2.5 years old. It's practically brand new for me.
Well, I know that.
But yeah, you had to unlock like 2 or 3 bits, and then the paint shop, and then you unlock the bit where you can mod your cars and stuff. And it's very similar where it's like. I'm getting to a bit, and even though which annoys me, even though my car should absolutely piss over the cars that I'm racing in the game, they're just like flying past me. So I'm like, oh great, because
to tune it.
Yeah, you have to tune it and stuff like that. And the problem is, if you tune it too much, then you can't go in that race because your car is
your PP's too high.
Yeah, so you're like, oh. So that's why you need loads of different cars. I mean, I'm enjoying it. So far, I just don't know if this whole license thing is going to do the same thing as it did to me before then.
See, the thing I like about Gran Turismo, Nick, is it's a slow kind of process into getting into the quicker cars. You earn your money. You do the races. I mean, obviously, I'm at the point where I've got everything unlocked. I mean, I can just pick and choose. But I think that's what people like about the older Gran Turismos as well. It's just that whole process of like, you feel like you're earning the cars and you spend more time with the car you've got because it took you so much to earn it, if that makes sense. You get more pleasure out of it, whereas not slagging off Forza because, I do enjoy playing it from time to time, but it just chucks cars at you. You know what I mean? It just chucks them at you. No, I'd compare it to Motorsport, right? Where it just kind of just chucks cars at you. There's not really a campaign. It's just like, oh, there's a bunch of races, just go and do them.
Well, the last couple, it's like a sticker book for cars, isn't it?
Yeah. So, I find Gran Turismo is more of if you're really into cars, it's kind of that car purist kind of game where you just like it's kind of artsy at the same time, with all the photo modes and all that sort of stuff as well, and it gives you all the history.
That's a bit annoying. After every race, it just automatically starts up the replay.
Oh, I love it. I love the replays.
Yeah, but I'm not going to sit there and watch it. Plus, I can't work. There must be a setting somewhere. I think I've looked where the like the beeping at the start for Gran Turismo.
Oh, yeah.
It's coming through the controller.
Oh,
and that's annoying as hell. I wish I could turn that off. There must be a way.
Yeah, I'll tell you how to turn it off.
Usually disable it in the settings.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the only thing I could, but I couldn't find it in the actual game. But I'm sure I turned that off, like in the PlayStation 5 settings somewhere. But
yeah,
whether or not this
there is a way to do it. Yeah.
But maybe it's turned back on.
Or use the steering wheel.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say, because I don't know. What view do you use when you play these games?
So, I was talking to someone about this yesterday.
This is something I'm going to quickly mention.
Go on, Darren.
I play, whatchamacallit, the Gran Turismo series, always bumper cam, or just like an FPS.
Yep.
But I play all the Forza games in third-person camera.
You're exactly the same as me, Darren. Exactly the same as what I was going to say.
I like it, like outside the car, but the only thing is, I mean, it might be because I'm playing this in the living room on the big TV, so I'm sitting a bit further away than I would be, even a 65-inch TV. There's only one outside of the car view.
Yeah.
Whereas with Forza, there's like two, possibly three.
Yeah, there's two, isn't there? It's like
whereas this one, there's only... And it seems... Maybe it's because I'm used to being slightly closer with Forza. I normally have the first one out of the car, if you know what I mean. Whereas this one, it seems to be a little bit further away. I think it's because I'm used to, with Forza, being slightly closer, so it seems a little bit
So the
jarring.
thing I find with Gran Turismo is outside the car view feels very stiff. I don't like it. But also because it feels like a proper sim to me compared to a Forza. Like it just feels that more realistic. I feel like it feels even like the car feels better to me if I'm inside the car or on bumper cam. It just feels more natural.
I think it might seem faster as well.
It's like the way that I always used to play Ridge Racer back in the day in a first-person view. I struggled on those games in third person.
Ridge Racer,
like the back camera.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, though. But I like cars. I like looking at them. I go through the thing and I like spinning around, looking what the cars look like, and some of us because especially with the older Forza games, I had that car, I had the cheaper version of said car, not the actual really expensive hot version of that car, obviously, But I'm like, that looks like my that's the same steering wheel as mine, and that's like mine, and and when you're inside the car and you don't all you see is the bumper or just a screen, it kind of think, well, they've put all this detail into what the cars look like. If you're not actually looking at the car...
This is why you get the replays at the end and you get to bask. You just
Maybe. But I do like the in-car view, like where you can actually see the steering wheel and look around and you can see your, the rear view mirrors and stuff.
Yeah.
So it is I like that view and the one behind the car. But
that's fair enough.
Other than that, I'm enjoying it, but I may have to get Webby round or take my PlayStation to Webby so we could do the licenses for me because I'm useless. Do they still do share play like they did on PS4?
Maybe. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. I haven't really seen or heard anyone using it.
You should get yourself a wheel though, Nick, if you're going to really get into it. Just get the cheap Logitech wheel, mate. Feels amazing on this game.
I don't want to knock you, Webby. I don't think I'm that wangy.
No, that's fine. I mean, the controller does feel really good with this game, though, with the haptics, I will say.
I say that when I've got about 6 different arcade fighting sticks. So
We'll sell a couple of them and get a wheel. You'll be well away, mate.
I remember my old Sega Saturn one. That was terrible.
Oh, dear.
It looks like a bow tie, and if you turn it too hard, you'll just break it.
Oh dear. No, I'm glad you're enjoying it, mate, because it is in my opinion, the best sim racer you can get on console.
Yeah, I like this, and I've been playing Horizon 4 again because that's one of my favourite ones. But it's just weird. You wouldn't think that two driving games could give you two sort of different experiences, though, would you?
Well, you can with Horizon. It's an arcade.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. You wouldn't, considering they're both car games, you wouldn't think they'd be that different, like of how you play them and stuff.
They are.
I mean, you can find a Burnout as well, and amongst all of that, it's a different type of style.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Awesome. Let's get to Darren, because I know he wants to drop off before we end, I believe, because work.
Probably talk about this. This just basically the main game I was playing last week before working. Silent Hill 2.
Talk to me.
I have finished the game twice.
What?
Within that time.
Wow.
So the first time I went through it, it took me just over 19 hours because I was like drinking in the atmosphere, running about, checking every little nook and cranny that I kind of could.
Yeah.
Just see what the game had to offer as well. Went through, got one of the endings because this game has multiple endings. Obviously, I think there's about 8 in total. Got the most common ending, which is, I think it's called Leave.
Yeah.
That's the term for it. And there's another 2 others that are from the standard, and then you've got like a few crazy ones thrown in on top. One of which involves a UFO.
Yeah, I watched that on YouTube.
I did that on my second playthrough.
Oh, really? Oh, that is really funny, man.
You can New Game Plus the game, you get like new items given to you and stuff, and if you're playing certain puzzles on the same puzzle difficulty, etc., the answers are generally the same for some of them. So you can whip through the game a lot quicker second time round. Second time round, I just gunned for pretty much everything I needed to do and sort of did it in about 3.5 hours or just under.
Wow, I didn't realise your name was Sly Almond.
It's really generous, to be honest. But like, and I think the thing for completing it is under 10 hours. So you could probably still go for a fast run, balls a load of the crap up, and still have plenty of time left to get that in. Because it's a relatively short game, but it's the experience that it gives.
Yeah.
Barry,
I mean, you finished it as well.
Did you play the PS2 version back in the
Yes.
Yeah, how does
I'm way long ago. See, I haven't played the PS2 version in like probably 15 years or more, so my memories of it are kind of slightly hazy. I thoroughly enjoyed it, but I did thoroughly enjoy this sort of reimagining of it as well. I will say.
They added quite a bit of content from the original, I understand, as well.
They embellished, obviously, on stuff. There was certain areas you went through, because the original game is sort of like that weird sort of isometric camera keeps changing about.
Yeah.
All the different angles and stuff, and it plays on you not knowing what's round the next bend as you head off round. Like Resident Evil used those kind of cameras as well. But the switch to over the person third sort of type of for that kind of game does bring you into the world a lot more, gives you more freedom to look around and take everything in, and it is very well sort of detailed for what it is. Like the presentation of the game, I haven't really got any issues with at all.
Yeah, same.
When it comes to the look and the feel and the atmosphere, and it's kind of like I spoke about it last week. It kind of gets under your skin, if that makes any sense. And there's loads of references to that in the game, which probably doesn't help. But you can sort of feel the game getting under your skin. So even though it's pretty morbid and shit and what's going on, and what you know you're having to put yourself through, you're still pulled to play it.
Yeah, it's got a very...
Like I did have a sort of like a nice thing of like, I don't really want to play that again, but do I? And then I'm like, screw it, I'm going to put it on for another hour. oh, this is pretty rank, but yeah.
You're going to try and get the platinum?
I'm gonna probably go for it a few more times because there's some other endings I haven't seen. The interesting thing was that the UFO ending actually had the beginning of it play out in obviously this new version, but then it almost transists to like the PS2 version of that ending being shown on a screen on a spaceship or something.
Yeah, it's weird as fuck. Yeah, because I went and watched all the endings on YouTube after I finished it this past week, and it's weird because for such a serious, dark game, it's got quite a dark story to it as to why he's there. It is rather silly as well, isn't it? With some of these endings.
I mean, it's always been that. I've got no issue with there being like a weird version where it was like there's a lighter side to it.
Yeah.
Or like another weird possible explanation for it.
I did see my mate who was streaming this again, but he's got it on PC. They've already started modding it and hacking it to put the older costumes and characters back in.
Oh, right, yeah.
Like dressed her up how she was in the PS2 version, like same sort of costumes and things like that. So that's kind of cool. And then I expect within another couple of weeks they'll just have them like half naked in dominatrix stuff.
Some of the PC mods are great. So I'll just briefly say I also completed it this past week. Took me about 16 hours. Really enjoyed the game, but I couldn't play it for more than an hour or two at a time because, as Darren was rightfully saying, it did get under my skin. The story's very depressing. The mist is it just feels like it's getting onto you.
This room with the weird noise and the rotting bed with maggots and like the floors being eaten away and there's mould up the walls and it's like...
but yeah, as I say, I really enjoyed it. But what I was going to say is, once I completed it, I went back into it ever so briefly and just fucked around with some of the mods. So I put that mod on for Sunny Hills just because I wanted to see what it was like.
The no fog version.
Yeah, and it was like, so what it does is it gets rid of the fog and makes it daytime with the sun beaming down. And I just ran around the town. And it's actually really interesting, just seeing it like that, because you can see obviously right to the end, but obviously none of the enemies are hidden or anything like that. But the lighting and everything just looked really amazing because obviously I had the full ray tracing on as well, and it's just like the reflections and the puddles all looked amazing, and even everything full on in the background looked really nice. They've done a really good job with the graphics of this game. I did also notice that there were some other mods to players like Master Chief or Leon Kennedy. I didn't bother with any of that. I couldn't be asked. So yeah, the modding community's really going to town on this, which is quite funny to see. Yeah.
Yeah, like I said last week, I'll be quite happy for this development studio to do more of the older Silent Hills, give them this treatment.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
I don't know if it's sold really well or not, but it seemed to be out of stock in most places.
It's sold well, but not like knockout. Remember, it's only currently on PC and PlayStation.
Yeah, but I think Konami does that thing where they don't like to make too many copies up advance. So they don't want to I think a lot of them do. Like Nintendo, they don't make loads of copies. They try to keep the price high.
Maybe.
Or Konami's just tight and they don't want to make loads of them and then have to sell them for like $10 each.
Yeah.
No, I heard it sold around over 1 million in 3 days or something.
That's pretty good, actually.
It was either 3 days or a week or something else. But yeah, that's reasonably good. But it's not like you didn't think to yourself like this is a classic, like a remake of a classic horror game from obviously psychological horror game from back in the day. And even as just any person who's into Silent Hill, there's still going to be that weird pull of like, oh yeah, it would be interesting to explore what that game and that world would look like if played from this perspective.
So I can't see anything online. So it just says like the last bit of news was it's cracked 1 million sales in 3 days. That's pretty good for 3 day sales. 1 million.
It's been out now for over 2 weeks, hasn't it? Two, 3 weeks, I'd say. Didn't it come out like the beginning of October?
Yeah, I can't see.
I was expecting it more around this time of the month, actually, to coincide with the whole Halloween aspect.
Yeah.
I think it just stay the hell out way of COD, pretty much.
Well, that's why Dragon Age is out on Halloween, because the characters all look like stupid fucking crappy costumes, don't they? So... Oh, sorry I had to get that joke in. But, yeah, Darren, I think I agree with you. It is a great game, man. I really, really like it. I just think it's a little bit of a shame it didn't come to Xbox on launch as well. But
it's something to look forward to, though.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you've got some good stuff coming on Xbox within the next few months. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's another nice one to look forward to at some point.
Yeah. You played anything else, Darren?
No, that was like I have, but obviously it's just the sort of stuff I'm usually just dip in and dip out of each day.
Your main game.
Stuff.
Do you want to stay on a bit longer, mainly, or you?
No, I'm gonna chip off.
Yeah, I thought you would.
Around, so
sweet. All right, Darren, it's been nice to have you on, mate.
No worries.
And enjoy the rest of your evening. Me and Nick will carry on chatting shit for a little while longer.
All right, cool. Take it easy, guys.
Cheers, Darren.
Bye.
Thanks, mate. Yeah. So I've played some more games, Nicky, baby. Halo Infinite. Played a little bit of that with my boy on the weekend. Not really a lot to say about it, to be honest. Just played some big team battle. But I do want to say, like, apparently there's a new mode coming or come out. Helldivers mode.
Is it called Helldivers mode, or is it just copying what Helldivers
It's called Helljumpers.
Oh my god! Oh.
Yeah.
I'm laughing.
Yeah. So there was actually a little trailer for it that came out about a month ago. For it, but I hadn't been keeping track on the news and stuff for Halo. So yeah, this new mode's called Helljumpers, and it is basically just Halo's version of Helldivers. With the drop pods. Going around the map and doing the missions just like Helldivers, but, you know.
It
sounds interesting.
That Halo sort of dropped where it's just copying other games now.
Wow.
Whereas normally all the other games would be copying Halo.
Yeah, I know, but you know, I just think it's funny that that they've added it. I mean, it's nice to see that they're still doing stuff to the game. To be fair,
I mean, didn't you say a few weeks ago you were playing it and they had basically a zombies?
Yeah, Halo. COD Zombies mode in it. Yeah, so there's still.
Yeah, so it's like,
yeah. That's pretty funny, man.
I actually installed it and I was going to play and then I deleted it.
That's fair enough.
Something else, I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these games are so big as well, aren't they? Like 100 gig.
Yes, they are. Yeah. Apart from that, I played a tiny bit of Sword Art Online this week. Not a lot. I've been very busy playing all these other games, but I will just want to say it's still decent, still enjoying it. Hetro from the community has been joining me in some co-op sessions on this. Darren's just left us, but he has ordered a new copy. I don't know if it's actually turned up yet or not. I forgot to ask him, but it is full crossplay as well. Still having a lot of fun with it, still playing it on the Steam Deck mainly. But yeah, just wanted to mention it because it's a fun game.
Yeah, a lot of games and stuff seem to be going missing, and especially not just Royal Mail like that and Every and stuff. Those are a lot of my one of my Facebook groups, the area where I live. There's just weird pictures of people posting, so proof as delivery.
Yeah.
And I mean, I had one a few weeks ago. I ordered something, and someone sent me proof of delivery. It was my neighbour, but it was just a pair of her legs.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
And she didn't have no shoes on. I'm like, it's a nice pair of legs. I'm like, I recognise that doormat. I was like, good job, because I didn't actually say anything. So I'm like, oh. Phew.
They didn't even put a note for your door or anything.
No.
That's terrible, eh?
I just got a proof of delivery on the app. It didn't say we'd delivered it the next door, so
yeah.
Just got to hope neighbours are trustworthy, which not a lot of them are.
Oh, I've got decent neighbours, so I'm all right. No, right, Gav. Yeah, have you played anything else, Nick?
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember if I talked about this last time. I don't know if did I talk about Far Cry 6?
I think you did, yes.
Yeah, but I can't remember if I either finished it then or I talked about it but finished it.
I can't remember, mate. I can't remember what I had for tea yesterday, let alone what you talked about
well, I finished
the other week.
I finished Far Cry 6. I can't remember if I did before, but yeah, that was okay. I've just, it's Far Cry, and it's been the same game since Far Cry 3, pretty much.
I really enjoyed this Far Cry. That's the one with what's his face from Breaking Bad in it.
Yeah, it's a bit disappointing because he did some FMVs and some talking, but he didn't really get to do much, and then he just killed himself at the end. Spoilers for a 5-year-old.
OMG.
Yeah, but he just killed himself, or no, he shot his son to kill him and then slit his own throat, and I'm like, that's a weird way around.
Spoilers! Spoiler alert!
Spoilers! Fuck it. And I was like, oh, but I did like some of it because you go do all the other little quests, like for the other, gang leaders of all the different areas, and once you finish, they set off a load of fireworks and stuff like that, and you sit there and watch the fireworks. I'm like, oh, that's nice. I appreciate that.
I know Far Cry gets a load of shit, and I know that Ubisoft are shite, but this is one Far Cry. I just really something about it just gelled with me. I really enjoyed it. Yeah. I just love the open world nature of the Far Cry games, and this one just felt like the shooting mechanics felt really nice, and the exploration and the graphics and the story just all kind of seemed to just gel together for me. I just thought it was a great game.
I looked at it. I played Far Cry 5 like 18 months ago.
Oh, wow.
So maybe because I played that one so recently, maybe I was a little bit Far Cried out.
Yeah, a bit of burnout, yeah.
Yeah. But that was fun. And there weren't as much customization as there's been in others. Like, you could, I was finding myself running out of bullets a lot and having to keep swapping guns. Whereas in the other one, it was like, oh, kill all these animals and stuff, and then you can, create like bigger ammo pouches and things like that.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, I think there was like workbenches for your guns, but it was just very basic.
Yeah.
Like change your sights and stuff like that. And most of the time, I just found a gun and just was playing with the ones I found.
Okay.
And I played with the same one or two guns, but
fair dues, mate.
I think that's not a bad game.
I think it's good. Okay, cool.
You got any more?
Yes. So I played 2 more games. So I'm going to give a big shout out to Metaphor ReFantazio. Only the demo. I've only been playing the demo, so I haven't bought this yet. I am going to buy this, though.
If only there was a way you could play this without paying for it.
Well, there is. Apparently. Not that I'd know. However, I am 100% going to be purchasing this on Steam to play on my Steam Deck, because I played the demo. I haven't finished the demo. I'm 2.5 hours in, and I still haven't finished the bloody demo yet. Bloody lot, you get a lot for free. But I've played about half on my PC and half on the Steam Deck, and it runs really well on the Steam Deck.
This seems the type of game where you could play like with headphones there, and then you could like bring your Steam Deck and just sit on the sofa and play it there as well.
Yeah.
But do your grinding on the Steam Deck and do the main missions or whatever.
Well, I actually plan on just playing through the whole game on the Steam Deck.
Fair enough.
Because I think I mentioned, you went on last week. I mentioned last week I'm going to Australia for the month of December.
Yeah, I listened. I listened to the ones I'm not on.
Oh, good lad. Well, yeah. At least you do.
Not the Patreon versions. I'm too tight for that.
Yeah, I've noticed. But no, it's going to be my Steam Deck game for when I'm on holiday. I know we're on holiday. You're meant to be doing stuff, but I'm there for a fucking month, mate. And I've got 24-hour plane journeys to do. So, that's going to be my holiday game. So that's what I'm just saving it for then.
Yeah, kind of like when you played Persona 4 on Vita.
Yeah, Persona 4 Golden on the Vita. Yeah. Love that.
Those sort of games,
yeah.
Those sort of slower paced RPGs work quite well handheld. They
do indeed. So no, it's great because I love the Persona games, but this is I mentioned briefly last week. It's like Persona with the art style and the friendship thing and the battle system and stuff. But it's set in a high fantasy universe with fairies and trolls and elves and knights and all that. And it's just really cool to be playing that type of game in that cool art style in that high fantasy setting. I really like it.
Well, you can't have every game set in a high school in Japan, can you?
No, that's it. So it ticks all my boxes: turn-based combat, weird story, high fantasy. I'm all in. But the cool thing about the combat is it's not all turn-based. So like when you're running for a dungeon, the weaker enemies, you've got a melee button. I think it's like X or something like that on your controller. And the weaker ones, when you hit them just running around the dungeon, it just kills them in one hit and you just move on. So it saves a bit of time. So that's quite cool.
Are you playing this on like medium, or do you just put it on super easy and
what am I playing it on? The one above. So there's loads of modes. There's like story mode, which is mega super duper easy. But I'm playing it on the one above that, so it might be easy. It might be story, easy, medium, hard, or something like that. I'm playing it on easy because I'm a noob.
I do like when games come with all different stuff like that because people are different. They don't want grief, do they?
Well, I think the thing for me is when you're younger and you don't have kids and all that sort of stuff, you can spend hours grinding your dudes on an RPG. It's fine, right? But I've got other commitments. I've got time. I do play a lot of games, but time is still kind of precious. So games like this, if I can save 10 hours of grinding, then I'll put it on easy mode to do that, and still enjoy my experience. Yeah.
It's like with Final Fantasy VII, all the newer versions, you can have like ×2 speed and do stuff like that. Whereas, not just that, especially doing the podcast, you've got other games coming out you might want to play to talk about and other things. If this game, say, will take you 30 hours to finish or 50 hours with grinding, you might as well just do it 30 hours, mightn't you?
Yeah. Yeah. Question from Dougster in the Twitch chat. Keep them coming, people. If you do, I'll read them out as I see them. A question for you. I'm going to ask you as well, Nick, actually. Dougster says, last month he saw a job advert for The Division 3. Would that be a game I would play? Well, I love The Division 1. I love The Division 2. Not quite as much as 1, but still an enjoyable experience. I think if it looks right, I'd give it a bish bash bosh. What about you, Nick?
Nah.
No?
I mean, I bought The Division 1 probably about a week or two after you lot all finished with it.
Oh.
And then there was no one to play with. Everyone had moved on. It's one of those. And then I think I pretty much did the same with Division 2.
Yeah.
But no, I bought that to play with some other people as well. So I think I got like a Game of the Year edition with like loads of DLC and stuff. So this would have been a year or two later. And I was like, yeah, we'll buy it, we'll play it, and we'll all stream it together and have a few drinks and have a laugh. And I was like, are we going to play it? No, I can't be bothered now. I was like, oh, okay. I think we did the same with, was it Borderlands 3 as well?
No. So I've got, was that the one I was playing with Gav? Borderlands 3 is the latest one, isn't it? So
I think all the latest, newest. I think they did like a pre-sequel and then
Borderlands is free, yeah. So I actually never bought it until the other week, and I was playing it with Gav the other week. And then,
I got it on Xbox, so.
Yeah, well, so have I. So we can play co-op. We can do free-player co-op, Nick.
But you're going to Australia.
Yeah, we can play it like tomorrow or something. You don't have to, don't have to wait till next year.
Am I actually gonna be able to play?
Well,
or have I got a level up and do loads of shit?
Mate, I'm only like a level 4, so I think you're alright.
I'm the level not started.
Yeah, that's alright.
I could just run around behind you and let you guys do all the game, and I could just watch and get all the achievements.
Is your name Peebs by any chance? That's exactly what he used to do on the 360.
Mate, we used to just remember back in the day on Gears of War 1 and 2 where we'd get someone to play it on casual mode and we'd be on insane, just hiding from each other.
Yes.
Get the achievements for playing it on the hardest difficulty. That was so much fun.
Oh, good times. Yeah. So, hey, have you played anything else?
Yeah, I played and finished it. It's not a long game. Battlefield 5.
Wow. I saw you playing this the other day, actually, on the friends list.
That's how far behind I am on Battlefield. That's, I can't remember which order, because you had Battlefield 5, then you had Battlefield 1, which I want to say that was after 5.
Right.
I think I've played Battlefield 1. That's the problem. But yeah, I mean, I don't mind these games. Some of them get a little bit the guns. Sometimes it's a bit hit and miss for these Battlefields. For me personally, sometimes the guns feel you know what I mean. When you play the games, you want the guns to feel meaty and weighty and just feel right.
Yeah.
In Battlefield, sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. I don't know if they've had different developers or maybe it's just the different guns and the era of times, but I prefer these older, World War 1 and 2 guns because they're a bit more slower and they seem to do more damage.
Okay.
Whereas I think when you play the futuristic ones, they seem a little bit sprayy.
Okay.
It depends.
Better body armor, mate.
I played through the campaign. I finished it as well.
Nice. It's a good campaign, actually, from what I remember.
Yeah, it's weird because you play as some French people. I want to say you play as Germans as well.
Yeah, you do play a few different
there's some
countries.
Tank levels. I think that was the last one. I was a bit gutted because I only got 3 achievements throughout the whole game. I was like,
wow.
What? And I was like, I didn't even get an achievement to say I'd finished the game or anything. I'm like, that's not fair.
OMG.
There's a prologue, 5 missions, and then an epilogue, which is just just some videos and stuff.
Yeah.
But with Battlefield, compared to COD, it's a lot more open world missions and stuff.
Yeah.
There's one where you're in the snow and you're playing as this the French woman, you're just going around on the skis. And you just, even if you're on flat surfaces and it doesn't make any sense, you're just floating around. It's go to this area and blow this thing up, go to this area and blow this thing up, collect the intels and stuff like that. And even when I was playing it on Nick mode, very easy, you could still get killed pretty quickly.
Wow.
I don't know how bad. But then I tend to play run and gun and just run into the middle of 20 dudes. So
there you go. Just typical weekend for Nick. That running into a room with 20 dudes.
Yeah, I mean, what's the worst that could happen, right? I played through that. That was nice. I mean, I remember my mate Andy was talking about this because he played this last year. I think this is when we were going to play online together, and then he sold his Xbox. and bought a PlayStation 5 and then sold that and bought a laptop. So, yeah, but he was saying this got a bit of controversy when it came out because it had the reversible covers with I've had the woman on the front or the dude on the front.
Oh, right, okay.
And they were like, what was it they said? It was like, they were calling it Battlefield Vagina or something. Because it was Battlefield Vive, V for like Roman numerals.
That's pretty funny.
And I'm like, it was just a little giggly thing. I was like, I remember that back then. But yeah, that was an enjoyable game because I haven't got COD to play, so I went and played this. But like I said to you, I'm just feeling a bit, I don't know if the right word is down, but it's like, how many games I've got and haven't played, and I'm just trying to go through them and finish them before I keep buying new ones.
Yeah, no, that's fine. It's
not that way,
yeah.
But
yeah, mate, it's all good.
Yeah,
the game's there for enjoyment. It's got to be there. The hobby's there to enjoy, not feel like a job. You just play what you enjoy, mate.
Yeah, but plus, like I said to you before, I don't like the idea of spending £70 on a game on release.
It's a lot of money.
Well, I've done that a lot and then you don't really play them.
Yeah.
But even I buy them like months later for £20, £30, £15, and then they still sit there in the plastic.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to go through them. I've still got like 9 Yakuza games to play.
Well, they'll take you
2 years.
Yeah, over a year because they're long ass games, man. Fucking hell.
Well, I've done Yakuza 0 and Kiwami 1.
Nice.
And Judgment.
Good games, mate. Fantastic experiences.
Yep, I like those games.
Cool. Last game I played. Just briefly wanted to mention this. It wasn't for very long. Grand Theft Auto 5 Online. Well, I say played. I attempted to play. I couldn't get online on it. So the reason why because I didn't have it installed. So I re-downloaded it. It's a hefty old download, actually, over 100 gigablobs.
Yeah.
On PC. On PC.
Yeah. On consoles, you can't download one without the other.
Right, yeah. So the reason I wanted to play some online is because I think it might have been Tag. I can't remember exactly who it was in the Discord put a post about these Grand Theft Auto role-playing servers. I was like, what the fuck is that? So then there's a video series that he mentioned. It was fucking hilarious, man. This guy, David something, plays GTA 5 online. Yeah, Brian Gittins, David Earl, dude called David Earl. He's been in some TV shows or something. But anyway, I watched a few of those videos. I was laughing, man. It looked so funny. And he's like these role-playing servers, it's like people actually have like proper jobs on the servers. Like he's a bin man, so he goes along like collecting the bins. And then you've got like actual people working in the hospital, stuff like that. And it's like proper role-play. So if you get like beaten up, you've got to lay in the street and wait for an ambulance to turn up. And it's an actual real player. Then they take you to the hospital. And some of the conversations they're having was fucking hilarious. Anyways, that got me in the mood for some GTA. But for some reason, I tried for about 20 minutes to get online, and it was like trying to load me into a multiplayer server, but then it kept on just kicking me back to the single-player campaign. It was really weird. I tried on many occasions to get online, and it just wasn't having it. So
when it first came out, there was a lot of that, wasn't it? Where you'd be like, and even if you were on GTA Online, you'd be like waiting for a race to start, and you'd be loading, and then all of a sudden you just hear the and you'd go up in the map, don't you? And then you go back to the story mode.
Yeah.
The rules kicked me. I have to put it back on. Wait for me, and they never wait for you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. As I say, I'm not interested in doing this role playing thing. Cause it just seems like a second job, and you have to download another client and shit like that. But it made me realise I never did any of the heists online, so I was quite keen just to get online and see what that was all about, but I know you actually need other people to help you do them.
Oh.
So I was going to just...
Some of them are really hard as well.
Yeah, so I was actually going to just say on the podcast, like, if anyone listening has GTA 5 on PC and fancies trying some heists, let me know.
I mean, why are people still playing this? Apparently some people are buying it again. Why are you still buying it?
I mean, mate, to be fair, I was running, like, because the multiplayer wasn't working, I just did a bit of driving around on the campaign, or just in the open world, you know, with one of the characters. And I tell you what, it still looks really good now. Like, I've actually got, because my PC's decent now, I can run it max settings, and it just looks gorgeous. Like, and I'm like, this game's over 10 years old, and it still looks really good now. And that just is amazing to me. It really is.
I'll tell you what, though, mate. I mean, I know it looks good and slightly different, but even GTA 4, mate, just the attention to detail with these games.
Yeah, I know. It's mad, isn't it?
There's things like, I was playing Battlefield 5, and I'm trying to blow up this, like a car or something. I had to blow it up. And I'm shooting it, nothing's happening, there's no collision detection at all. I'm shooting the door, it's not putting bullet holes in the door, and I'm shooting the tyres and nothing's happening.
Yeah.
You know, whereas with GTA, if you shoot the tyre...
Yeah, it pops,
you'll just it pop and then it will go down. You'll just...
Yeah.
It's just so good. I mean, like I said, when I say who's still buying it, you know who's still buying it, me.
Yeah.
I bought the PS5 version because it was cheap and I just want to. I keep saying I want to play the games I haven't played and go through them, yet I keep wanting to play old ones.
Well, whatever keeps you happy, mate. Anything else you played, mate? Was that
No, not really.
Okay.
No, not really. Yeah.
Did I have any other news? Oh, yeah. So we talked about Ubisoft earlier. Remember a little game called Prince of Persia that came out earlier on this year? I think around January time.
What, the 2D one?
The side-scrolling one that looked really shit.
Yeah.
Actually sold quite well, apparently, but not well enough to keep the development team in a job.
It was a budgety game, though. I think it was like 25, 30 quid even from me. So,
yeah. Yeah, so they've laid off all the staff in that studio, which is a bit sad, of course. But off the back of that, I've found another bit of news that because this studio has been shut down and the employees laid off, 700 employees at Ubisoft are now going on strike because of this. So things aren't looking good at Ubisoft at the minute. They're making people redundant and the rest of the staff are striking. Lols.
It's just weird how these companies are doing this now, because normally you'd have, you know, like the people, you know, designing, like, and going through ideas of games, and once they decide what they want to make, then it'll go over to the developers, you know, the coders and the people who start making the actual game.
Yeah.
And then it'd go on to, you know, like the last stage of the people actually finishing the game.
Yeah.
And by the time someone's finished at one bit, then they then go on to another game. But they don't seem to be doing. They just seem to fire a load of people and then hire them back, like, later when they're ready to do that, because they don't seem to be keeping these games moving. I think it's because they take so long to bring games out now as well. I think could be one of the reasons, but...
Yeah, I mean, this whole Prince of Persia thing, though, I played the demo of this, and it just wasn't for me. You know, I just didn't like the art style. It just felt very dated as well, the gameplay. I think it sold okay, though, and it got really good reviews, but it seems to be a running thing with Ubisoft. They bring games out, and they sell okay, but not enough for the say the upper executives, because Star Wars didn't meet expectations either, and Assassin's Creed's out soon, and that's way below on the pre-order numbers apparently.
I thought that got delayed to next year, though.
Yes. Oh, yes, it did. But apparently the pre-order numbers are down. So that's what I was trying to go to. Yeah.
That's good if they think it's not ready and the numbers are down. Maybe they need to work it. But with this, though, Webby, it's just weird, that Prince of Persia game, because I look at it, I thought, well, wasn't the first Prince of Persia kind of a 2D one?
Yeah, the original one was, yeah.
Yeah, but then they made it more of a 3D, kind of like Assassin's Creed, really, didn't it?
Yeah, and that was really good.
Yeah, and then now they've gone back to that, and I'm thinking, well, why would you go back to that type of thing? Like, I mean, that looks like what they call a Metroidvania. It's like, well, people who like them, they like Metroid games, they like Castlevania games.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm surprised they haven't had. Well, I suppose that's Konami, but why they haven't done another Castlevania game like this? Because even back then, I think you were talking about it one of the other podcasts with the Lords of Shadows games.
Oh, I loved them. Yeah.
It says you loved them, but I don't think they sold as well, especially the second one.
Oh, yeah. Well, I say loved them. The first one was great. The second one was meh. Yeah.
Yeah. So they were like, rather than think, well, we completely changed the perspective of games, of what people, it did okay, but not the best. So rather than go back to what it, did well, they just abandoned them for years.
Yeah.
I mean, even this, it's got to be, 10, 15 years since the last Prince of Persia game?
Yeah, it's been a long time.
PS2? Maybe there was an early PS3 360 game?
I'm sure there was one on the 360,
Yeah,
definitely in my memory banks.
Yeah, that might have been really early. I think that might have been a wangy one as well, slightly different. Or there was something, or it wasn't that good. But
can't remember.
I don't know, but we were talking about it earlier. No games are selling what they expect them to. And I'm like, well, why? What possibly gave you, the expectations that this game was going to sell like 15 million copies? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
That's what I'm saying. They're not doing their, marketing research and, testing and getting a, wide amount of people, to preview and test these games to see what people want. I mean, how many games are they going to bring out that people don't want?
I know.
Or not enough. Well, so I say, not enough people want what they want to sell them.
Yeah.
If you see what I mean. Yeah. Because like I say, if they spent, if they were expecting they were only going to sell 2 million copies of this game over a year, and they sold 2, well, the game budget for what they made should be the equivalent of that. But instead, they think these games are going to sell 15 million copies or something, and you think, oh.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, we were talking about Assassin's Creed. They still haven't, after a year, they haven't made their money back. And I think, well, how much did they spend making this game?
Well, Alan Wake, you mean? Or
yeah, Alan Wake. What did I say?
I'm sure you said Assassin's Creed. I knew you meant Alan Wake too.
Yeah. But the same as Assassin's Creed. I mean, those games used to sell really well.
Yeah.
Why are they not selling as well? I mean, there must be.
I think people are just burnt out on them.
That's burnout. So why don't Ubisoft think, right? Well, I mean, they did say the other day, or a few of them ago, they had a couple of years off, didn't they? Because they were bringing them out every year like COD, and they had a couple of years off, and then they brought out Origins, didn't they? The one in Egypt, which I really liked. I thought, this is great. It's more open world. It's fun. And then before you know it, it's like, okay, and now we're bringing out Odyssey, which is kind of the same. And now we're bringing out Valhalla, which is kind of the same. And you just think, oh.
It's too much. You don't have time for all that.
These 100-hour games, and people just think, like I said about Far Cry earlier, there's only 18 months between, me playing Far Cry 5 and 6, and I think, I've already done this, I'm already burnt out, and now we're bringing them out every 12 months.
Yeah.
And it's not like COD, where you can just play through the campaign in, 5, maybe 8 hours, and then just dip in and out of multiplayer an hour here, hour there. you've got to invest hundreds of hours into these games.
Yeah.
And where have people got time to buy all the other games?
Oh no, it's ridiculous, isn't it?
I mean, if you bought every Ubisoft game they brought out in a year, would you actually get time to beat them all?
Well, I probably would now because they're hardly releasing anything. But
I know, but I'm just saying how many they used to in the past.
No. And that's the thing. I'm just going to answer a question that Doug's just put in the chat. I want your opinion on this, Nick, actually. He says, why do you think digital games still cost more than physical games? Surely with more and more people buying digital, they could make them slightly cheaper, or at least the same as the physical. It's a great question. Digital games have always been more expensive than physical, and I do not know why. It's freaking ridiculous. You know, you have games that are 70 quid. They sell for the recommended retail price on digital. This is consoles, what we're talking about here. And then you go to a website like Game Collection or Shop2.net or something, Nick, and it's like 10 or 20 quid cheaper. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, from Sony or Xbox's kind of view, because they just want the maximum money. And if and when we go all digital, like, I mean, I don't know if you look, Webby, like on like every Tuesday, Xbox pretty much has a new sale.
Yeah.
And then PlayStation is a Wednesday. Nintendo's every blue moon or whenever the hell they do it.
Yeah.
You know, whatever. And you're still paying 35 quid for Mario Odyssey that came out 8 years ago. You know, you're never going to get Nintendo games cheap. And that's how Sony go. I mean, I looked at it, about Stellar Blade. It's still 60 quid everywhere, and that's came out in January.
I really want that game, man, but
Yeah,
I just can't.
Well.
I can't justify the.
No, I can't.
I can't justify the cost.
No, I'm hoping it gets a Black Friday. I mean, I'd pay 30, 40 quid, but it's what they want. They're trying to force them to want, but also if you're selling them, not as many as it used to be, obviously, because I think only Asda, and I think they're just about giving up, are actually selling games, where before it was all the supermarkets were selling them. You'd have Game Station, HMV, WH Smith used to sell games. So there was actually competition in the physical market of games. So they would sell them for cheaper because, there's competition. Whereas if you buy it digital on your PlayStation, you can only buy it from PlayStation, can't you?
Yeah. I mean,
whereas PC, you can buy it from Steam, but you could buy a CD key, which gets it cheaper. You could buy it on, I don't know why you'd want to, but you could buy it on Epic Games, and I know a lot of people don't like Epic Games Store or Good Old Games and things like that.
People do, but
I know some people do, but some people get really annoyed and they want everything in Steam, whereas some people are happy to buy. Like, let's just say if you bought, did you get Silent Hill 2 on Steam, Webby?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. All right, okay. So you're playing Silent Hill 2 on PC, but for some people, if it was 50 quid on Steam and 35 quid on Epic, some people wouldn't give a shit and they'd just buy it off Epic.
I mean, I just buy where it's cheapest, right? If I go on I mean, because it's an interesting conversation actually, because this is the main difference between PC gaming and console gaming, right? PC gaming is all digital now, right? And and there's a lot of options to get your games cheaper from various different websites.
That's what I'm saying,
right?
but there's still options.
I say console gaming. I say console gaming. Xbox is actually quite similar. Like, you can get most Xbox games digital codes on various different websites as well.
PlayStation stopped anything on CD. What, 3-4 years ago, maybe? Yeah,
so PlayStation, all you can get online on CD keys, as an example, is just like
PSN credit,
and that's it. And that's normally just.
I'm saying, so there's no competition.
Yeah.
And that's what PlayStation wants. I mean, like I said, if the PS6 comes out and it's all digital, I ain't touching that shit for a few years.
Well,
because I don't trust them. I don't trust Nintendo either. I don't really trust any of them. But
well, I compare PlayStation to the Apple of the gaming world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, everything in their ecosystem. They don't want you to be able to buy their games anywhere else, only on the store, so they can set all the prices themselves. Which, you know, I was chatting to someone at work about this today, actually. I was having a good old gaming chat, and he was saying he's just sold his PlayStation 5 because he said, like, he said to me, he just, because he has an Xbox as well, and he said to me, I don't get why people prefer playing PlayStation over Xbox, because PlayStation's just so much more expensive than Xbox, you know. He says, I've got Game Pass, and I can buy my games digital from the websites like Gameavo or Aniba, where you can buy like the Portuguese version and play it on your English Xbox, you know, the codes and all that. He says, whereas PlayStation's just so walled in that he can't afford to pay 70 quid a game. It's ridiculous.
And they just have some some of the things they do. I mean, like, because, you know, they finally brought out in this country, and you could play it on PS5, Dino Crisis?
Yes.
You can't really.
You have to stream it, don't you?
You have to have it through that. But whereas before, like, I've got some of the games that got like Resident Evil Director's Cut.
Yeah.
Because I had that it just works. But they never had Dino Crisis 1 and 2 available in the UK to buy digitally, only in America.
Yeah.
Whereas people over here, it's just like, it puts it behind onto that. And I'm like, well, like I say, what if people don't want to subscribe to this PlayStation thing? What if people can't afford it? What if people just, well, actually, I just want to pay £8 for the game, and I've got really crappy internet, and it'll take me ages to even download that, because there are still a lot of people that haven't got. There's some people I know that haven't even got internet, and they just use hotspots off their phones.
Are those people living in like the 90s or something?
That could be, but you know, I'm not. You know, obviously, there's a lot more people get like internet now than there used to be, but also just financially. You know, they just lock it behind paywalls constantly and stuff like that. And that's what that'll all come down to. I mean, I wouldn't surprise me, like, it's like they've got, he likes it because you've got Xbox, and you could play Xbox games on PC as well, you know, like cross-buy.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's brilliant. And you know, if the money was right and they could, you know, get some sort of deal, Xbox, they would allow Steam on their consoles.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
If the money was right, you know, and it was, you know, reasonably fair, and it'd probably be, you know, once they get the streaming thing right, because eventually they will, won't they? Eventually, internet will catch up to a point where you won't, you know, it'd be like Netflix.
I don't agree with that. I mean, people say to me, "Oh yeah, game streaming now. I don't notice a difference," but I notice a difference straight away. You'll never ever get the input lag from your controller inputs to a server somewhere in the middle of nowhere and back to your computer without you noticing it.
Because I remember, you know, like when I've had Netflix ever since it's been available in the UK, and I remember the first time I think I only had like not the best internet. You know, I had like 15 meg when it first came out, and you were watching Netflix, and it would only go up to like 540p and stuff like that. And every so often you get the buffers. And now I'm just like, you know, I mean, I can tell the difference if I'm watching a Blu-ray and you know, something on Netflix.
Yeah, 100%.
I can just about tell.
Yeah, but playing a game is different to watching a movie. Like, you're interacting with it, and those button presses and moving, like, you're playing a racing game, you need to be precise. And it's never, ever one for one what you're doing on the controller at that specific
I'm just saying, I'm just talking hypothetically, Webby. If they get there whether or not, just the technology. It could be that, you do actually have like a box or a hard drive in your TV, so you still have a box, but just how it don't, it could be downloading at the same time
Yeah.
as, like how games, like where it used to bring it off the disc, the bit you're on, and then the other bit wouldn't be on the disc. It could be something like that, rather than just literally streaming from somewhere else that is playing the game.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, once the technology gets better, and you can't tell the difference because of whatever reason, maybe, half the game is downloaded, and as you get past that, it deletes the other part and starts downloading the next part. So they said you are basically playing the game as if you were playing it off a disc.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying. So if and that's where they want the technology, don't they?
Well,
they don't actually want us buying any discs.
Well, no, because they want to control everything.
Yeah, exactly, and they're all the same, and for good or bad, But that's what I'm saying. But if the price was right, that's what I'm saying. Whereas Netflix, you pay however much it was. I mean, it was £6, and now it's like
£20 a month or something stupid.
I think that's $10.99 for the HD 2 screen. So if you just want one, and I think it's like 16 or 17 if you get the 4K, whatever. But what I'm saying is, that is one Blu-ray movie a month's worth, if you see what I mean.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying.
If you bought one Blu-ray, that's £15. Yeah, you could buy Netflix for that, and you can watch all of those thousands of movies, TV shows for that one price a month. So you think that is worth that, if you see what I mean. Whereas if we were with games, they wouldn't. I know they're doing this thing. They'd want you to pay individually for all of those £70 games as well as, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
You see what I mean? I mean,
that's why Google Stadia flopped.
Yeah, because they were being greedy. They wanted you to pay for the service and pay for the games.
Yeah.
And they will eventually. I mean, I don't know.
That's when I stop gaming myself. You know what I mean? I like to have. I don't see it happening. I really don't see it happening in my lifetime, mate. I really don't.
I think a company will try it and then they will backtrack. I mean, we do. I wouldn't say we're pro Xbox. We're pro whoever's good. Xbox tried to force it with the Xbox One, didn't it? With the always online. They tried to,
and now everyone's doing it. You know.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. They tried to go too fast. That's why I think they're slowly weaning us off physical and going on to digital. But like I say, price wise, if it doesn't come down, I'm just not buying it.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever bought one full price digital game.
No.
I bought a new game when it's come out digitally, if it's like a budget title or an indie game. If it's so I think the most expensive one I've bought was Tomb Raider, and that was £22.
Yeah, well, I'm different. I have bought full price games digital because I'm a mug, but.
If it's the same price, if you want that game on release day, if it's £70 on PlayStation and it's £70 in Argos, then I can sort of see where you're coming from.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to buy all my console games physical if I can, anyway, to be fair.
Yeah. Well, no, but it's just that you could. I mean, I see it on Facebook Marketplace. I'm a bit gutted because someone had Silent Hill 2 on there, and they were selling it for £40.
Yeah.
They finished it, and that's what a lot of people still do. Whereas I know, I think CEX is pretty much the last one since Gamer stopped trade-ins. But some people think, well, actually, if I buy Silent Hill 2 for £55 and I have it for 2-3 weeks and complete it, and I sell it for £40, then they've paid £15 for that game, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, I used to do that all the time.
Yeah. And you used to do the old renting as well, didn't you?
Boomerang Rentals back in the day before they fucking stole my card details and rinsed a couple of grand off it. Wankers, but yeah. Anyway, mate, time is ticking on. We do need to move on, mate. I could talk about this all day. because there is a kind of bit of news. Oh, yeah, so I talked about Metaphor ReFantazio earlier, Nick.
Yeah.
Apparently it sold really well on PS5, but apparently the Xbox sales for it haven't been very good.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people thought it was going on Game Pass, and because of a lot of the Persona games did go on there, and who is it make these games again? I forgot the name. Yeah, Atlas. Because they have a very big, relationships with Xbox and Game Pass, they're just like, this is going to be on Game Pass in 6 to 12 months, so people just can't buy it. I mean, we've said this before. The same as the Yakuza games. A lot of them go on to Game Pass. I know they go off and then back on and stuff like that. But I think if you looked at what was the latest Yakuza game? The Infinite Wealth Dragon, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet that sold better on PlayStation 5 than it did on Xbox for the same reason. And it'll just keep being the same.
Yeah. I mean, I bought it. I thought it was great. But, yeah, I just wanted to mention that. And my last bit of news is a weird one, actually, that I saw today. So I've already talked very highly of Call of Duty, but there was a little bit of news about this where there's an in-game purchase for better sound quality. What?
Well, what, you pay for Dolby Atmos or something?
So this is only on console. Yeah, for spatial audio. For players looking to get much better audio in BLOPS, there is an option to use spatial audio. This allows the game to properly map out sounds in a 3D space. Blah, blah, blah. And it's an enhanced headphone mode. But you got to pay for it. The amounts can be purchased after a short... Yeah, so you can purchase it after a short free trial. Doesn't actually say how much it costs on this article. But that seems a bit weird because on Xbox, because I bought this on Xbox ages ago, the Dolby Atmos sound thing for your headphones.
Yeah, I bought that.
Because when you buy it on Xbox, you also get it on PC, so I use it on PC all the fucking time. So
yeah, but I thought that would be, that's for the headphones, and whatever game has that, you would have that.
Yeah.
So it's just for COD.
Oh, yeah, it's like a COD thing. Yeah, I'm just trying to load up this Reddit page, which this... Oh my god, it's so slow. Yeah. A personalized profile analyzes your unique head or ear shape for precision sound. To continue to use a personalized profile after trial, visit the Immerse Game Pack storefront from Embody. What the fuck is that? I have no idea what that is, but it just seems a bit weird. You can buy a specific audio thing in the game. Strange. But I'm pretty sure if you've already got the Dolby Atmos on your Xbox, that would be good enough. But I just thought I'd briefly mention it. Yeah. Doing the rounds on the news cycle, it's weird.
It makes you wonder if they would favour their own whatever that is, and like either not bring out a Dolby Atmos mix at all for those headphones, because I know they're a bit iffy. Because what was it PlayStation had? They had was it 3D audio that was PlayStation only?
Yeah.
But then I think that was just built in to the headphones, wasn't it?
I think so.
Or if you bought compatible headphones, either the Sony ones or some of the Arctis ones had it. But yeah, that just seems like something that should be in the game, and they've took it out. And
well, I think it's actually a third party that's selling it, but through the game storefront somehow. It doesn't make much sense to me, but just seems weird. And that's all the news. And we've been bang on, in 5 seconds, 2 hours of the recording, Nick, which is plenty of time. We've done well.
I think we have.
Yes. So I think we're going to end it here. Next week's live stream will also be on Monday, because I'm away for the weekend doing things. So that will be fun. And that's about it. So from me and Nick, we all hope you have a lovely week, and we will hopefully see you again next week for the next podcast. So from us here, thank you very much. We will see you next week. Goodbye.